Why you're so old. Siempre estoy pensando en ti. En ti, quiero verte now, baby, baby, baby. Mueva tu cuerpo ya así, así, así.
Hello, we are YRZOO here with Ethan Uno. What's up?
It's good, y'all.
Ethan, my first question for you is just where are you from and what is your background?
I'm from San Diego, California. Should I look at the camera or you? And then background, ethnicity, my mom is from Monterrey in Mexico, and then my dad's from El Salvador, so.
Sick. In your music, you sing in both English and Spanish, obviously, and you mix together like Latin sounds with a lot of other genres. So sometimes with like Jersey Club, for example. So I was wondering, like, can you tell us what inspired that specific sound of mixing genres together?
That specific sound, like, the Latin stuff is just kind of in my blood, but I always kept it in the background because I was, like, in a really white community growing up.
Okay.
But it's like, you know, it's like when you feel it, when you're surrounded by it growing up and stuff, like, you just internalize it. So that was just always there. And then the Jersey Club, I just took a trip to New York City in, like, February 2023, this year. And I just, like, I think it was just in my subconscious because I just heard it everywhere. I heard Boys a Liar. That was, like, when Boys a Liar 2 came out. And I was playing that song so much.
Cool. And yeah, you mentioned earlier that like you lived in New York briefly.
I did.
So what's it like being back and performing here?
It's cool. It's mad. It's like funny because there's people who I know here, but they knew me as like a completely different person. Because I was here as like a college student. And it's like I was making music, but it wasn't as like serious. Like I wasn't taking it as serious, and like people weren't taking me as serious. So now coming back and like seeing some of those people in the crowd, or just like the fact it's happening, is kind of like
you switched up on them.
It's mad different type shit. It was like 4 years ago that I moved out of New York City.
You had an identity switch, kind of.
Very different. I was more
That's
studious.
cool though. You can like flex on them now, a little low key. So you sample a lot of early 2000s Latin. Like pop, bachata. Was this a genre of music that you like grew up listening to? You said you have it in your blood. So like,
bro, I'm not even gonna front that bachata wasn't even like super played in my household. It just like using bachata was like somebody kind of told me you should try this sample, and I was just in a very like creative spurt, and it just like it literally just stuck. Like I posted it on TikTok for whatever reason. Yeah. And it just like
that's how I saw it.
Life. It just took its own life of its own. So it's like I never claimed to be like, oh, I'm like I have Dominican family, or like I feel like I get flamed because like sometimes I see comments in like on the TikToks or in like what is it, like forums that people are like, he's not Dominican or from Jersey, and it's like he just cap, and it's like I don't know. I feel like it's just like if you feel music, you should just make it and share it. And that's like where I'm kind of coming from.
Yeah, also I feel like if you're Latin, you will at one point have heard like
100%
bachata. Like 100%. It just kind of happens. Your song Pensando en Ti, that one samples Corazón Sin Cara by Prince Royce.
Sure.
And then your song Cual Quieres, the sample is Obsesión by Aventura. Right. So like I wanted to know, like, do you listen to like those two songs in full, and does it like remind you of like your own music?
I haven't listened to them in full like recently because it's like it does remind me of doing those songs. Well, maybe I will, like, I don't know, like in the car or some shit, like once in a while. But I'm not about to lie and say like that was like a childhood song. Like Duele de Amor, the one I did of the Alex Syntek song, that was like a song that like I grew up on. Like I listened to it like 100 times before.
I'm just mentioning those two songs because I feel like I grew up with those two. Like,
where'd you grow up?
My family's Colombian.
Word.
So like they wouldn't play this, but like at a party, like a family party, it would like come on or something, or like on the radio. Literally just like growing up, I grew up in Miami, so it was like Latin.
I'm jealous.
Completely.
I'm trying to go to Miami.
I feel like I was listening to like the songs that you sample and like watching the music videos for them and stuff, and like Latin music in like the early 2000s especially was like so overly romantic and like dramatic.
100%.
And I feel like that's just kind of Latin culture with the media that we consume.
That's
like,
just Latinos, period. Like,
yeah, I
we,
wanted
like,
to know, like,
overdo
do you
everything.
relate to that?
I think so. I think like deep down for sure that it's like
Mm-hmm.
I've always been, especially in my music, it's like over dramatizing like
Mm-hmm.
romance too.
Last question is, we live in a time of like a lot of cultural fusion, I feel like. So like in music, like definitely like genres are getting mixed up. Like it's like hard to like define like all the new stuff that's coming out.
For sure.
So do you consider your music to be somewhat like experimental? Do you think it's like starting something kind of new? Because I feel like this is the first, you are like the
Word.
first that I have heard to do this specifically. There's been a lot of like Latin hyperpop,
That's
but
facts.
this is a little different.
I think I feel like there's someone out there probably doing it too.
Yeah.
Like I've definitely come across, like I think me and my brother came across. Sorry, my brother's sitting over there too, watching us.
Hey.
I think there was like we came across someone sampling Obsession by
Okay.
Aventura and making it into Jersey like 2 weeks before I posted me doing it.
okay.
And it's like I never even heard that. Like I didn't take the idea. I'm just like a big believer that it's like a time for ideas to come in. That it's like everyone collectively feels like there's like spaces that open up, or like pockets that open up, and it's like that idea just sits in there, and someone is just gonna
sure.
come across it. So that's
For
like,
sure.
I think it's always like as artists, we should strive to always be like doing something new and experimental. So yeah, I would like to think it's like new and experiment, and to me
Yeah.
it's new, which
Yeah.
I think is the most important thing. And then there are people connecting to it because to them it's new as well.
Well, thank you so much, Ethan. Shout
Oh,
out.
that's
Why
it?
is it? Oh, a.
Baby,